Bună ziua, sunt Bogdan Olecu și bine ați venit la o nouă ediție a emisiunii ZF Cum Construim România, realizată de Ziar Financiar și CTP. Discutăm desigur despre evoluția mediului de business din România, investițiile realizate și cum atragem în continuare investitori. Îl avem astăzi alături de noi pe Sebastian Metz, directorul general pentru AHK, Camera de Comerț Româno-Germană, și Rareș Glod, directorul de construcții al CTP, cel mai mare dezvoltator și proprietar de spații logistice, nu doar din România, ci și din Europa. Dar acum vom trece la limba engleză. Hello, Mr. Metz. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Bogdan. Thank you very much for the invitation.
How is the business environment now in Romania at the beginning of 2025? What are the signals that you're receiving from the German investors, for example, in Romania?
I mean, we have to decide, we have to distinguish between two things. The business climate here in Romania is, let's say, influenced by the political situation right now, which is quite, let's say, unsolved. Let's put it like this way. So everybody's waiting for the presidential election in May, and hopefully to see a pro-European path, the continuation of the pro-European path here in Romania, and then, of course, since 1.5 years, because the last year was a so-called super election year of 1.5 years. Of no major activities, and so in a political sense, so we hope that we see a clear path for growth here in Romania, because we need it. We have fiscal deficit here in Romania, which is one of the highest, maybe the highest in Europe, between 8.7, between 8 and 9%. So there is a big question mark, and of course it seems to be that this economy is changing a little bit. The growth contribution sectors, the growth was basically on consumption. Let's put it like this: salary increases, other measures actually to balance or rebalance inflation and any other things, energy prices, etc., etc. So it is based on consumption, and this has to change right now, because fiscal deficit is quite high. The salary is also raised also quite high. So we need to focus now on investment, and that's what we say as a business community. Please continue with the investment agenda into infrastructure, of the public administration infrastructure, meaning not only roads and railways. It means energy infrastructure. It means the health infrastructure. It means the education infrastructure, the digital infrastructure. So we need a lot of investment into this country, because we need these competitive factors to be there in order to have successful businesses. So this is the situation right now here of the German of the Romanian German business community. But when we look to Germany, of course, what we see there is a huge transformation taking place. The chemical industry is under huge pressure in Germany. The automotive industry is under huge pressure in Germany. So this comes on the top of the problem, let's say, for the companies, for the German companies here, and that's let's say it's a very challenging year. But I'm a professional optimist, let's say like this, and I hope that by mid of this year we will sort out here in Romania. We have sorted out now the political situation in Germany, and I'm pretty sure that we will have again successful years. But it's not the time to lean back, it's the time to start really working. Yeah?
If you were to give an inside info on what investors want, because, for example, 2 years ago in December 2023, the German companies object when the government announced a 1% tax on the turnover. That was big, and I'm sure now that they didn't mention how big was in reality, because now I saw a big investment from Bosch going to Poland, not to Romania.
Yeah.
On the other hand, German companies are still big investors in Romania, but if their home market is being affected, how can we attract them better in Romania?
First of all, we are still totally against the minimum turnover taxation. It's an unfair and not very logic tax because you tax the turnover, and normally, first of all, before companies can pay taxes, they need to make profit. This way, this tax is unstudiable. Let's put it like this, and it's unfair. And it's already changing some business cases of all companies. We are not talking only about German companies. But so things are changing. The business models are changing. In most cases, not to the best for Romania, and in most cases they are neutral or negative. So that's the first point. The second point is what do you ask me? What kind of factors are important for German companies? No fiscal changes after the election or in this year for companies, for example. This is a very important, maintaining the flat tax, the corporate flat tax. So this is a clear wish and request, let's say, of the business community in total. Because when you look at the overall tax burden that companies has to bear here, it's already something. So we are not, although the flat tax is very low, but the overall tax burden is average or above average, let's say, here in Romania. And other countries are starting in Europe. I'm not talking about other countries in the world, but other countries in Europe are focusing on competitive advantages, and they are starting to be quite attractive. There is still some inflow, but now you don't look. Bosch was now an example, but you don't know who would have invested in Romania. So you only see who is investing, but I'm pretty sure that Romania can attract much more. So that's a problem of all the story. So one more time, there are other European countries like Poland, but also Portugal, who raised really the competitiveness in comparison to other European countries. In Romania, that's why the government must focus on competitiveness of this factor. Fiscal is one thing, the investment is another thing, and education is a very, very important thing, especially when we are now we are facing actually what does it mean to transform this business location from let's say low-cost, middle-cost manufacturing into a higher, not a high cost, but a higher cost innovative R&D business location. What does it mean? And we still have to prove whether this transformation step, we can achieve here in Romania. So we are at the beginning of this new, let's say, business era here in Romania.
Is that why we don't have a factory that produces washing machines, but we will have an R&D investment from Infineon?
Infineon, for example, yes, they really expanded the footprint here in Romania, and it was based on trust, based on good potential that this country has. I would not be here if this country would not have actually this potential. So we have all the ingredients ready, but we need to start cooking. So that's the point. Infineon, yes, they now have enlarged their footprint here in Romania. Washing machines. I mean, this is the Bosch case. This is one example that manufacturing is at the edge. There are also other countries Yeah, 2-3 years before it was logic, I'm exaggerating, yeah, but it was logic to go with manufacturing to Romania, because the mix of quality, the costs, other factors were right. Yeah, but now this is one example which should us thinking about, do we have still a very attractive mix? And it must be manufacturing and something more to attract these investment with manufacturing and something more. And this something more we have not worked upon. Yeah, so we still need to focus now on this something more. Yeah, because we need more added. More factors which can convince companies to do manufacturing and other activities here in Romania.
Thank you. Rareș, we'll switch to CTP a bit. Talking about construction, you also construct buildings for manufacturing units, for factories. How difficult or how easy is now to build a hall made for manufacturing? Do you have certain standards or certain deadlines you should respect a much stricter deadline than in other cases?
Basically, CTP is a company ready and prepared to take on all kind of investments from the industrial domain. We are seeing a little bit of flip in the last period towards the build-to-suit projects. Actually, we just finished a nice project in Brașov for a German investor, consisting of an 18,000 square meter facility, a very large distribution center, which is different from warehousing in Ploiești, in Blejoi near Ploiești. But this is more, let's say, due to the fact that CTP is prepared to do this kind of investments, knows how to do it, basically has an internal team which from land acquisition, design, construction, property management, facility management, you have the whole chain. You have the whole specialist, which allows you to know how to do it as optimum as possible. So I would say that this is more a merit of CTP as a company for knowing how to do this. Also, CTP is a company which is working very well towards the, let's say, European trend, investing very much in sustainable solutions, in innovations. We are very keen on finding ways to reduce utility cost of the facility. Why? Because, as you know, usually warehouses or large industrial developments are big consumers. And the utility cost in the last year has become very, let's say, important in the P&L of every company. So we are investing a lot of money and we are very keen on reducing that utility cost for us and for our clients. Basically, we have innovative solutions like, I don't know, photovoltaic panels, for example, gray water systems. We are doing effectively nice parks for people to work in, because attracting labor force is key now in these times. We are very keen on obtaining a very competitive cost due to the high volume that we have. Because, for example, CTP in the whole group has constructed last year 1.2 million square meters with another 1.8 ongoing. This gives us a lot of leverage and volume in order to negotiate and keep some key partners with which we grow. When I say partners, I mean also clients, I mean also suppliers of materials, general contractors, and so on. And we go on this win-win strategy. We grow together with our clients, together with our suppliers, and obtain in such way a higher quality for a better cost.
For example, at kilometer 23, if I'm not mistaken, you also built the bridge and some infrastructure. For every manufacturer that comes to one of the CTP's parks, do you also invest in infrastructure to have better access, faster access, safer access?
Safer access. Kilometer 23 and the bridge over the highway from kilometer 23 is maybe the most known investment in infrastructure of CTP Romania. For example, also in Brașov, we have built the access road, which we donated. We are going to donate it to the public domain. For example, also in Ploiești, we have built the access road. So we have significant investments in the infrastructure of our parks. This makes us different from other developers because with these visions, let's say, we attract more and more blue chip clients, growing with them. And again, the strategy is quite simple. We grow with our clients, we grow with our suppliers, and they help us grow.
But isn't it a bit more expensive to build these projects?
It is, but with
Who
these...
pays? Who pays?
Us.
Does the government or the city hall, somebody in the local authorities, do they pay or contribute in any way?
They support us in getting the permits, in understanding that more, I would say, investment approach needs to happen in this country, as you said before. And most of the authorities understand this and support.
So they pay time.
Exactly.
Time is money. So
time is money. It's help. It's making them, we are trying to make them understand, and most of them understand these days, that infrastructure is key for development. So even if they don't have the local funds, we provide them. Of course, considering also that we have some budget limits, and we, let's say, contribute to the overall well-being of the area, for us, of course, but also for the public domain of that area. So that's why we are a little bit different, because, for example, in kilometer 23 Park, City Park Bucharest West, we call it, we built a clubhouse, a canteen for all the truck drivers, for all the white collars and blue collars. We have a medical point. We actually did a football and volleyball field in order for the clients of the park to enjoy it also with us. So this makes us a little bit different in our approach. We really like to do our parks, let's say, better for the guys working in them and for us. And this is how basically we help our clients attract more better labor force than our competitors.
Thank you. Mr. Metz, we were discussing earlier about the contribution of local authorities. I saw in Cities of Tomorrow that your conference last year in Oradea, this year, I'm very curious where it will be, if you can give us...
Yeah, we announced yesterday. Yesterday it was in Timișoara, and it will be in Timișoara.
In Timișoara, okay. Yeah. Good news.
We had, let's say, several requests from cities, but the most convincing, let's say, vision and topic. Because we decide on these criteria with the one in Timișoara. And we continue to be Cities of Tomorrow regional. It goes regional. Yeah.
How important is the relation between the investors and the local authorities? Because, for example, when I wrote about the news about Bosch going to Poland, many in the market said that not all local authorities are such good collaborators for investors. They don't always collaborate as well as they should be.
From our perspective, we are dealing, I mean, quite often with German investors, here in Romania, and I have to say that the attitude of local administration has changed a lot. So they take care, they are open, they are supportive. It's to my knowledge, there are no cases of local administration who are hindering companies investing in the region. So everyone is very open and very supportive. So I cannot complain anymore about this. This was maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago an issue. Some mayors were more business friendly, we say, and some less, or less interested, I would say. I think this is the right wording. But this has changed completely, and not only in the known city, in the famous city, I do not know, Sibiu, Braș, Cluj, Iași, Timișoara, Oradea, but also on a smaller layer, on smaller cities. They are very open and very supportive. They do what they can. So there's nothing to complain about. Actually, what is needed is there was 1 or 2 months ago this declaration, this announcement that there will be a reform of administration, national and the local one, regional ones. I can only. It is not my area of knowledge, and but being, let's say, more or less an economist and being since 13 years in this country and seeing different cities and region, I think that the government should focus on this topic. We need to give a little bit more trust and more freedom is not the right word, but a little bit more place to act to regional and local administration, because then they could support locally foreign investment even more. So that's why, I mean, these decisions, you have to understand one thing, these decisions, investment decisions from companies like GTP is supporting and helping very fantastically, very professionally. So these decisions are made after visits of several localities, of several cities. Sometimes they come to Bucharest just to know about maybe some incentives, some state aid schemes or European funds that they can use. But the final decision of a company is made after a visit of a city, of a locality. And if the mayor in this city or village or area can be more supportive, this would help actually this locality, and he can be more supportive only if he has more freedom. So, and that's from our perspective. That's why we are. Let's say, if we can be. I said one more time that it's not our place to say yes or no. But if we would have a wish, we would say that decentralization, regionalization, giving more power, more freedom, more space to act on a regional, on local level, this would be a right decision in order to be more attractive for foreign investors, I would say, at the end.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, because on one hand you're right, because I'm looking at the lands in Germany. So that's a good example.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, in Romania, we have Oradea and Bihor, Sibiu, Brașov, Timișoara, Vaslui, Botoșani, Giurgiu, Telorman. Can we put the equal sign between Botoșani and Oradea?
Look, everybody should have the same possibility to develop. But the thing is another thing. The thing is give each region. Every region is specific. Every region is special, let's say. Every region has different advantages. Some are more historically and from the labor more in wood industry. Some are more in manufacturing. Some are more in steel. Some are more in energy. Whatever. But these specific factors with a one-size-fits-all, very central decision-making. Yeah, you cannot grab the potential. You cannot exploit the potential of the specific region, and that's why that's from our opinion. Yeah, give a little bit more space to act on regional and local level, and it's also benefiting for the companies, because the companies really, they make the decision after visiting a city and seeing whether in this small ecosystem the things are right. Yeah, so that's why we have an interest, but a little bit far away. Yeah, I know that there are huge political thinking behind. I don't want to mix in this area. But from an economic point of view, being a bilateral chamber, attracting foreign investment, it makes sense.
Thank you. Turning to CTP, how is the discussion between you and the people that rent spaces? Because they want higher rent, higher profit, and you have to build a good building. A good building is an expensive one. So you have the pressure of the rent, the pressure of the costs. How do you manage all these discussions?
The CTP recipe is concentrated again in having an in-house team that knows how to do each process very well. Again, from land acquisition to design, to construction, to facility management. We don't sell our buildings, we keep them. It's in our interest to build them as well as possible. In time, quality pays off. You have an initial capital expenditure, larger capital expenditure, but on the long run, we have seen from a lot of experience in developing this kind of buildings that quality pays off. So that's why we have the internal team advantage. We have the large volumes, which again permits us to have good prices comparing to competitors. We have partnerships with suppliers of materials or suppliers of services like contractors, general contractors, subcontractors. And again, with strategy driven by sustainability, on the long run, we also achieve profits.
How do you manage then with buildings that you buy, buildings that are bought by CTP? Do you coordinate any investments in them? We
basically refurbish the buildings in order to get them to highest possible, let's say, CTP standard, closer to CTP standard, because you won't be able to build them as good as we would be able to build them from scratch. But our buildings, for example, have very good thermal insulation. We use panels of 150 millimeters of rock wool. We have LED lighting. We again have gray water systems. These are let's say latest technologies and also the best equipments from the market in terms of HVAC, in terms of sanitary system, in terms of electrical systems. This is how we, let's say, achieve our recipe. These are the ingredients, as Mr. Metz said, that make the, let's say, CTP recipe successful. Of course, it's not easy because you have various type of investments. You have large warehouses, you have small production units, which are more, let's say, dedicated and demanded for in Transylvania area, Craiova, some parts of a part of them, but that's why you have the internal team and the strategy.
What's the trend now in 2025, 2026, considering we had the pandemic, the material crisis, when the construction materials, now we have Donald Trump at the White House. How do you prepare for these challenges, these economic challenges?
It's not actually easy, but I can give you an example of the pandemic. In pandemic, all developers in the pandemic time, at the beginning of the pandemic period, all developers have decreased, let's say, push the brake a little bit on their investments because they were somehow, I wouldn't say afraid, but circumspect of investing and putting a lot of capital in a market which was slowing down. For us, it was actually potential because e-commerce grew.
Yeah.
E-commerce needs a lot of warehousing. So we took advantage of the growth of e-commerce and actually accelerated. In a time when the building and let's say the building potential of the country decreases, also the cost decreases. So we invested in that time at a very, let's say, well achieved cost due to our strategy, and we were able to further develop. The trend is positive as we see it. Just to have some numbers, so Romania this year, last year in 2024, leased about 700,000 square meters of space. This is leasing. This accounts for about 11% of the whole 6 million leased space in the Central and Eastern Europe. So, Romania 11%. The main drivers were Poland, 60%, or for example Czech Republic, which had 15%. What we see is that we have still a lot of place to grow because we compare ourselves with Western European countries which had, let's say, a lot more experience on this. E-commerce is one driving factor. Nearshoring, it's a very important driving factor, or friendshoring, how we should call it, because every producer is trying to diminish its cost of product. In terms of logistics, the professionalization, let's say, I would say, of 3PL companies. So logisticians are evolving more and more. Also, this is a very good driver. So we are optimistic about the future.
How much are you going to build this year?
We usually have a growth target of about 10%. So this means about 300,000 square meters growth target. This means construction and acquisition. CTP Romania is about 3 million square meters at this moment, being, I would say, by far the largest developer on the market. We are positive that, again, we are going to achieve our targets also in 2025.
Thank you. Discussing about what's happening now all over the world. We have Donald Trump in the White House, like I mentioned earlier. We have the Chinese with the car industry. They're pretty powerful right now.
Yeah.
I saw that many European companies want to learn from the Chinese how to manufacture and design cars, which it's impressive because 20 years ago at every motor show I saw Chinese people going and photographing every bit of a car. So they want to learn.
Yeah.
That was impressive. And we see now that they learned.
Yeah.
How do you see now the potential of Romania and the European market to grow faster? Last week, for example, our guest mentioned that we should buy more European. In America, Donald Trump is saying buy American. Should we buy European?
You know, I'm a person who believes in globalization, first of all. Yeah. So, being an economist, normally you cannot be against globalization because it creates a win-win for everyone. Yeah. So, when I would say buy more Europe, then I would say then we come into a circle which is not a win-win situation for everyone. But of course, against unfair competition, you have to protect the markets. Otherwise, you are the one who is losing. Yeah. So and this is what is happening right now: an increase of, I would say, a little bit more unfair competition. Yeah. So against this, we have to position ourselves and protect our industry. Another point is also linked to unfair competition is the resilient argument. Rareș was mentioning friendshoring, nearshoring comes with the thinking of being more resilient against dependencies, to reducing dependencies, reducing risk. I'm a big fan of focusing on resilient, but at the same time competitive industries. And that's why we need innovation. We need not so much regulation in terms of bureaucracy, because bureaucracy is dead capital, is dead human capital, so-called. I mean, it's not a productive, let's say, it's not a productive activity. Yeah? So we need to reduce our bureaucracy a little bit and put these resources into productive sectors who are producing something, who are innovative. Right now, Europe is in a very complicated sandwich position.
But is it complicated on the long run or on short term?
On the short term, we have, of course, it's on the short term. The U.S. is pushing a lot of pressure for us when we discuss about this tariffs. For example, it's happening tomorrow or the day after tomorrow or 1 week when we know about this measure, and I'm pretty sure that, of course, he's gambling. In my honest opinion, in my modest opinion. but there will be a form of tariffs, because he wants that this production goes into a country which has growth, which has less bureaucracy, which has less energy prices, which has a huge internal market. So he has good arguments why not to produce in the US. So we are in this very short-term, very complicated sandwich position. And long-term, the picture is not so different. So we have very high energy prices at this moment, and this will still stay quite a long time high. Maybe here in Romania we can reduce them by 2027, but one thing we have neglected in the last years when we talked about this energetic transformation revolution, the Energiewende, the so-called Energiewende, we said it is enough to increase renewable energies, we just have to wait, increase, and then we have low energy prices because the windmill then is working, the PV is working, but we have neglected one very important thing. First of all, we need to store this energy, okay, but this costs also money, and we need to invest heavily in the grids, in the energy grids, because this is the energy system is changing dramatically, and this is only possible when you invest into the grids, and the grids are costing quite a lot. So there will be, for a quite long time, relatively high energy prices, and we are in this situation with the bureaucracy, with the less focus on innovation. We are a little bit maybe also too slowly, when it comes to innovation. So it is once again we have all the ingredients in Europe. But now it's time to start cooking with these ingredients. So there is no time for hopeless and lean back or whatever drama.
We have to act.
We have to react. We have to think. We react, and we can do it. So. Well, that's a situation right now here in Europe. So we are under high pressure, and one thing is really concerning me, because I've told you that I'm for globalization, but when certain supply chains are fully in other countries, like the chemical industry, which is going to Asian countries and also a lot to the US countries, so there will be a huge part of supply chains, and supply chains means value addition, creating welfare, creating money, which goes out of our country. And we are in the phase of losing, in Europe, we are in the phase of losing the supply chain. And this means that we are losing welfare, we are losing consumption here, because the industry is consuming outside of Europe, and this will have huge effects. But we can change this potential way in front of us when we concentrate now to do the investment, to concentrate on innovation, and to spend time to have also the legal framework which is ready for this.
Thank you very much. Thank you also, Rareș. Mulțumesc și telespectatorilor. Am văzut că este momentul în care România, Europa trebuie să reacționeze, trebuie să acționeze, trebuie să reducă cumva prețul energiei, mai ales prețul energiei în România. Chiar în prima ediție a acestei emisiuni, Mihai Bordeanu menționa că România are per total o energie mai scumpă decât Franța sau Spania, ceea ce duce automat la un cost de producție mai mare. Și implicit toate acestea sunt elemente care trebuie să ducă la o schimbare și la o schimbare cât mai rapidă, tocmai pentru a rămâne cât de cât sau cât se poate de competitivi în fața investitorilor. Vă mulțumesc că ne-ați urmărit, vă așteptăm la aceeași oră și săptămâna viitoare. O zi bună!